Hey guys, Joe Kulas here once again for K Tactical. Unfortunately, it's time to do one of those more political videos. So anyone that obviously, with the many, if you've been really paying attention to news, the many unfortunate events that have happened lately, obviously another ban on guns, assault weapons, has been introduced. And to make the shortest story possible, which is not easy at all, there was the ban of 94, which pretty much was just cosmetic stuff that they're going after, and that lasted for about 10 years. Then it was just kind of it's hard to explain, but anyways, they went after key things, and manufacturers found ways to go around that by making the thumbhole stocks for certain guns, and by doing this, and by doing that, and by recategorizing it almost per se. But basically they're doing weird stuff that you see even currently, because it's actually became somehow popular in some ways. But the new ban more or less is saying, and they actually, I can't remember the girl's name, but she's leading the whole thing, but I'll have a link or two below eventually, so check that. Basically it's going to be actually listing out names of guns, about 120, 125 overall. And it's going to say quite literally those guns, and then list beyond function, upon function, and characteristics of sorts, basically, of that and other guns that could be. So basically, they're saying you can't make an AR-15 anymore, but if you were to change the name of it, it still can't be made anymore, because of they go through every sort of thing that makes a gun. They're like describing it in the aspect of, if you've never heard of it before, this is what makes it that type thing, and like in the aspect of like a book or something, you're getting the feel for it. So all of a sudden, our fun toys that some of us would like to think of them as, or a hobby of sort, are now illegal. Now, fortunately, she's grandfathering, or in the proposal has a grandfathering thing in there. But again, not to try to not make this video as long as possible, this basically becomes illegal. Alright? Basically. But now, you also gotta register it, you gotta do all this other fucked up shit as well. You can't legally ever sell it. Oh, you want to cross state lines? Gotta file paperwork. You gotta do all this stupid ass crap. And if you don't register, oh, guess what happens? We're not talking about some weird little thing. We're talking about, normally, it's going to probably lead to a minimum of 10 years in federal prison, which I would assume nobody's going to follow this law. And all of a sudden, you're going to see people after people after, like, you're going to see, as like, some would even say the baby boomer thing that happened after the war. You're going to see prisons full up, and like, well, where the hell are we supposed to put these people? Because somehow they got caught having an unregistered gun. And that's just going to lead to issues upon issues. But so I'm kind of losing track here. But anyways, it'll be things, if I remember exactly right, it's a 10-round mag, so nothing with more than a 10-round detachable mag. So basically, the first two guns I've shown you are now completely illegal. Now here's the best fucking part. Here's the best part. People that think they might be safe with like a 1911, and this is specifically an 8-round mag. It's more of a high cap mag. You might think you're safe. Oh, guess what? You're not. Because here's the thing. In today's world, we're talking about can accept more than a 10-round detachable mag. There's and here's again where it gets really fucked up. Anyone that has dealt with that, you know you can buy those 10 or 15-round mags, or even higher drum mags for a 45, which, you know, it's, again, these are 2.8s, one's loaded, one's not. Just kind of show wise. Anyways, you can buy basically a mag for any gun that has a detachable mag. It's quite literally that. They don't make per se one size. And again, for kind of a little bit aspects, the unloaded one, guns is well unloaded. It's flush. It's meant to be. The 10-round mags normally come out about that much. If you've ever used a 15, it comes out somewhere right around there. So it's not ideal. But they make them. So, all of a sudden, all these are illegal. We're talking about quite literally every handgun out there is now illegal. So we're not talking about just rifles. And as well, it again goes with your other rifles. It's not just AR-15s. Anything that has a detachable mag, they can pretty easily, like, oh, well, a company could make a magazine that's larger than that 5 rounds for it. So you're fucked. There's even talk in the simple aspect of an SKS, where they're normally fixed magazines, a 10-rounder, which by the way is now fucking illegal as hell. Which I think they make a 5-round thing for as well. But it's illegal to have more than a 10-round as well. Again, we're not talking about fixed mags. We're in the aspect of fixed mags now, not detachable. Those are now illegal as well. Holy shit. Now basically what this is mainly referring to, a lot of people that don't know, is like California, or what they will almost refer to as California legal models, are basically, they make like Uzis and some AKs and some other weird variation of guns, depending on like, I'm not exactly 100% sure because I've seen a lot of mixed stuff throughout the years, but basically it's areas that have weird gun ban laws on their own. It's basically, you're only in the sport for, like, you enjoy shooting your guns, and, like, it's not nearly as much fun because it's, like, anyone that's ever loaded a fixed mag, like, an SKS is easy because that bolt just comes all the way back. And, like, it's very open. But, again, this is, well, actually, this is a terrible fucking excuse, too. But, like, let's say AR-15s, like, how the ejection port is only to the right, it's not coming from the top. Trying to load those, like, in an Uzi that has a fixed magazine, all of a sudden, where you just take your magazine and rack it back, you're good to go. You have your ejection port, and you're kind of going at this weird fucking angle. They're actually pretty obnoxious. And as well, if you do a little bit of like YouTube looking here, you'll see some videos of people loading. Now, and again, it's just basically so everything with an up to a 10-round mag is now illegal. So things, more or less the aspect of a snub nose or something, is now all of a sudden really popular, and or subcompacts. But again, you got to remember, a lot of compacts still take your regular magazines. It's just a smaller mag. It's not redefined. They still have what people would refer to as like kind of like the word mag, the catches in the mag well, so it catches it so it doesn't, it doesn't slip out. You still have the same magazines. So this is where it becomes a really big issue. So basically, all of a sudden, every gun you've ever seen is more or less illegal. Now here's another interesting kind of concept to it. They're a little bit loose on a couple things, and a couple of them are simply in the aspect of a detachable mag. Now, she goes into quite a bit of detail about defining what's what. And this revolver specifically, how it comes out to the side, is that technically a detachable mag? I don't know. Is it? Because it's per se, it's a magazine. It's feeding the ammo. Per se, it's not bolt action. You basically have full autos. You have a single shot, which is like a bolt action that has. You literally have to feed the round in, and when you rack it back, it shoots it back. There's no reserve ammo. And then you basically have a semi-auto, so whether it's full auto or not, it's semi-auto. It's gas operated to work each round. So, all of a sudden, is this now illegal as well? So basically, all of a sudden, gun stores are out of business. Everything's out of business. Like, places like Cabela's, everything's grandfathered in per se, but now it's basically illegal. So, are they going to make ammo crazier expensive because they're not selling that much? Probably. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs as well. But basically, you got this kind of, if you can kind of grasp at this point in time where this is going, it's pretty fucking ridiculous. To say the least. And that's to say the least. So, you can basically see everything, and everything has become illegal. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Because again, I'm kind of trying to give you enough info here so you're not just like, duh. But, basically, again, with the registering of whatnot, it gets even better. Again, normally, as a lot of countries have shown, obviously, Germany being the worst example, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. But it's baby steps, is what a lot of people kind of like to refer it to. Reason being, they have a higher agenda. Guess what? This is not the only situation, and in our history specifically, I'm going to grab a great fucking example. And this is something that was for the good. You can do it for good and bad. Here's the thing, and they think they're doing it for good, but not really. In my opinion. Their opinion obviously is different. But the Civil War, how the Union was separating. Everyone fucking knew, obviously, the whole separation of the Union and leaving the Union was basically because of Slave Act. That's the reason. Like, there's really nothing else to it, because they wanted to, you know, the South was slave labor is all basically. It wasn't like the North where you had manufacturers and all that stuff doing goods. It was all like cotton farms, basically. That was it. That's what the South was. So free labor for very inexpensive cost, you know, for food. There was no really such thing as food and shelter even really for them. Anyways, that's where Lincoln and the Civil War happened. You had Lincoln and all that stuff that with it as well. But he saw the fact that if we just tell people, hey, we're going to do it for this reason. People were open enough in the concept of, you know, something needs to happen, but he used it to conserve the Union. And anyone that's taken a class on it, because like for me, I've taken Civil War Reconstruction, you learn pretty much everything in the war. You learn how baby steps work. It's fucking obnoxious, but it's interesting because you slowly introduce the public into the concept, like, but you're not throwing them a big chunk. You're very gradually doing it, and to the point where they can't do anything. And pretty much again, how that worked is the emancipation of God damn it, I can't remember it 100% right now. It's emancipation of I can't pronounce it. Anyways, that was only introduced at fairly near the end, when if we lost, how the fuck we would have lost was been beyond us. Basically to the point of, I can't remember what two states again, maybe annotate this in later. If they were slave states, but they were still in the aspect of like, let's conserve the Union. He introduced it at the point in time where we were going to win the war. If those other two states wanted to secede, it wouldn't have mattered. We would have just overtook them anyways. But baby steps are very interesting. Even, and again, if you really want to look into it, and again, the aspect of baby steps, while that war was going on, you had the North versus the South, basically. Union versus Confederates. They literally passed a law where all this, because they never, the South never actually got fully recognized as being its own country. It was never technically recognized under diplomatic aspects. Reason why trading and all that shit was weird with it. So with that aspect, they were never like treated as doing this or that. It was just occupy. It was very, very weird to explain. But so anyways, you introduced many baby steps, which led to, you kind of got rid of who was in power to do what you wanted to do. And honestly, we should have lost. It should have been two different states. But that's one of the, again, I'm fucking rambling on here like I always do for anyone that watches my videos, because it's a very long topic. But basically, that's one of the steps where baby steps was used for the better. And obviously, because slavery was totally fucked in the first place, why the fuck was ever allowed is beyond me. But people as we are, not so great, by the way, most of the time, we allowed it. And anyways, luckily we've evolved enough, or at least so I thought, and it's pretty much getting to that point again where we don't look at the big picture. Criminals are going to do whatever the fuck they want. It's pretty fucking relevant. Like, yeah, I'll swear here. I'm going to swear and I'll swear and I'll swear about it because I feel quite a bit about this situation. And as I'm looking at the timer, this is just becoming more of a lengthy video as well. But in simplicity, you know, guns, it's... I'm not gonna lie. The only thing that I have a problem personally with is the aspect of the greater plan of this is how we're gonna disarm people. This is how we're gonna take away their guns. Not really because, like, this is like a very whatever thing, but like, let's say eventually they get rid of our guns and all of a sudden taxes go up crazy because they could easily do it. And I'm talking taxes double or triple within a year, easy, to pay off our debt. Guess what? If it's federal, we can't do anything about it. And any sort of uprising or tyranny that we call out, we can't do anything about it if we aren't able to protect ourselves. Because guess what, people? The Army is there for a reason. They get paid for a reason. If you're in the Army, you don't ever want to ask questions. You just do what you're told. And they have lockouts. They have all that crap to begin with. And if you can't defend yourself, you know, it's simple. As well, people, again, are kind of failing to realize that it might be a longer plan, as fucked up as it may sound. There's one possible reason for why they might be trying to do what they're doing. If we can do this, we can raise the shit out of taxes to pay our debts back. You never know. You never know. Because at one point in time, someone has an idea of, we could do this and maybe make it work. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work. So anyways, I'm going to have a couple links down here. Check them out. Do whatever you feel like doing about it. But it's in the aspect of the greater scheme of things is why I'm doing this. I fucking hate talking about this shit because it's like, let's just go get a drink and bullshit about it. But no, it's something that again, I obviously love my guns. They are sexy and all that stuff. I'll use the word sexy because I can. Yeah, how you doing? But anyways, I enjoy this hobby quite a bit. And, you know, it's to me, it is my sports car. I like cars, but, oh, this is beautiful. To me, this is interesting. This is unique. This is something that I thought up of on my own for everything that was out there, and it's like, I wonder what I could do. I wonder what I could do. This and that, and to me, with everything that's out there, is like this is my masterpiece per se. But as well, like that's I take a lot of pride in my guns, and again, to me, it's a hobby. So, if in the aspect of it's a hobby, because I truly believe that there's more than one way to defend yourself. I easily believe that. You know, it's the only way you know how to defend yourself with is a gun. And I will say this again, and people can quote me on this all day. If the only way that you know to defend yourself is with a gun and or your family, that doesn't say a lot about you. Now, don't get me wrong, if someone's breaking in my house and threatening my family of sorts, oh yeah, I'd have them sit in the fucking closet while they're on the phone to 911 being as quiet as they can while I watch that locked door, and if somebody tries to break through it, oh yeah, I'm sure we know what's going to happen. But in today's world, there are so many goddamn things that you can do, whether you take classes or you learn how to use other weapons, because again, this is simply a tool. Simply, it's nothing more. It is a tool that allows anyone to, in some aspects, be a commando, per se, and you are a one-man army. You are able to do so much with this tool, it's uncanny. It makes your functionality or efficiency that much higher. It's not funny. That is why we buy specific tools, whether it's that really good wrench or that really good hammer. Guns in the aspect of self-defense are amazing at that. There's plenty of other weapons out there, and that's the way I like to look at it. Don't get me wrong. I would 9 out of 10 times prefer a gun, but there are plenty of options out there. And as well, if it ever does come to the complete banning, Don't be surprised if they ever try to ban crossbows, or bows, and yes, even knives. Although there's a million knives everywhere, there's a million guns out there too. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if it gets to the point where all we have is paper and plastic everything. Knives, and like you can't cut a steak because apparently you're gonna kill somebody with that knife. So anyways, I'm done ranting. Oh, by the way, with that too, you have things like Swiss Army knives. These were created as multi-tools, and as well you can have a multi-tool. Apparently, it's only evil. It has many purposes. And one thing I'm going to really quickly touch note on before I end this. Anyone that read about the recent shooting, whereas, make things short, they arrested this stalker, stalking his girlfriend, while they were in the police station. He ended up overpowering the woman officer, taking her gun out of her holster and shooting two and her, so a total 3 cops, and they ended up gunning them down at the same time. It was a big shoot-off. But, as unfortunate as this event was, guess what? Cops have guns for a reason. It makes them, again, in that aspect of, like, per se being like a commando, you're being able to do so much more. One person can do so much, whether good or bad, it's crazy. And it's in the aspect good more than not. So, but, you know, again, in that aspect, specifically, it was very bad what happened, and from what I've read, too, they're all going to make it fine. Obviously, the guy's dead. He got shot like no other, and he's dead. But the other 3 will be fine. It looks like their status went to satisfactory, is what they called it. So, that crazy, unfortunate happening, it should all be fine. So anyways, that's good. But again, the tools that they use, why do they use them? Think about it. You know, they have other tools like stun guns and batons and whatnot, and they have handcuffs to stay in them. They don't just go to somebody and say, "Are you gonna be okay today? You're all right, right?" You know, they're really drunk, whatever. They don't. I don't think it's normal for a criminal of whatever reason. Maybe they're just really drunk and they're not even a criminal. If you're getting arrested, it's not like, oh, like why don't you just get in front seat shotgun? You know, like why would I have you driving back? That's just so rude of me. There's reasons why they do things as they do. It's, you know, and again, a lot of people hate police, but they have to put up with so much shit that's not even funny. So anyways, cutting this video now, talking way too much. Again, you can look up that story. It's a pretty interesting story. So, but you know, support your Second Amendment right if you want to. Personal opinion, if it's gonna pass, it's gonna pass anyways. I believe in the aspect of very high things like that. People are going to get paid off. If it's going to pass, it's going to pass. That's my opinion. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if I'm wrong. But if you feel the need to, definitely do something about it. I like my toys, as I'm sure as you like yours. Because they're fun, right? Anyways, do something about it. Look who we're voting for. Congress is fucked, by the way. You never know what could happen. Take care. Hopefully you guys have a good day. A happy new year, and hopefully you had a good Christmas. Take care.